We're here with Washington coach Jedd Fisch, and I would do the how weird is it to be in Big Ten country, but you've been the offensive coordinator at Michigan. You have worked everywhere at this point. Have you been in Minnesota in the NFL? You've been, on the East Coast, West Coast. Does it even matter at this point where you are?
Not really, not in terms of geography, but it's exciting to be in the Big Ten, especially right now when Big Ten football is exactly where you want to be.
Yeah.
And it's such a national brand. It's such a huge brand. And so there is excitement being back in the Big Ten and being the head coach at Washington.
And it's basically all new. This is a new team. And I think for the casual fan who turned off the national title game and is now picking up college football again, they're going to go, wait, what? But what has it been like for you these last few months, building this roster and then getting it ready to play the way you wanted to play?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see if you turned off the game and then hasn't turned on a game, you're not going to know one guy. We've got maybe 21 new starters, I think, and all new coaches. There's nobody that was on last year's team that are now, I think we have 38 scholarship players from last year's team.
Wow.
Out of the 84 scholarships that we have. So it's a brand new situation. It's a brand new team. We're trying to really reestablish ourselves in what type of football we're going to play. It's a completely different world when 10 players get drafted from that team.
Yeah.
3 more signed free agent contracts. So that was an NFL team playing in that championship game. And now we're sitting here and we're trying to build ourselves back up to that level.
So speaking of NFL, you have a ton of NFL experience. You've brought on coaches who have a lot of NFL experience. How much does that help in this new world of recruiting where you're basically doing things like an NFL front office would, where you have to decide how much do we build through the draft? How much do we build through free agency? Because that's what high school recruiting and portal recruiting are.
Yeah, I mean, I think really the experience of being in the NFL is becoming more and more important as we're building these programs. It's going to be a world where we're going to have 105 players on our roster. Yep. You're going to have to make a decision on how many of them you're going to scholarship. You're going to make a decision, between 85 and 105. You're going to have half scholarships. Are you going to use the cap in that way?
Yeah.
There's going to be a large cap that we're going to have to figure out. Now, you're not going to have performance bonuses and things that maybe we're all accustomed to in the league, but this is the world we're in now, and it's a professional world. And now they're not employees. It's different in that regard, but it certainly is that same mentality of distributing money and asking them to perform.
Yeah, you still won't have the running back who comes to you and like, coach, when we get inside the 5, I got a bonus coming if I get one more TD. But you don't have to worry about that yet.
Yeah,
we give it time. But and like Steve Belichick is your defensive coordinator, and he's been in that world completely. How do you help him adjust to the college world?
Yeah, I was mic'd up in some spring practice, I think, and I said to him, how are your college eyes doing? And he's like, I'm learning.
Yeah.
Because, if you walk out on a college football field and you've only been on a pro football field, everybody looks smaller. Everybody looks a little slower.
Yeah.
The game isn't as precise, especially in spring ball year 1, right? So, but he's learning it, and he's really gotten excited about our team. And I think he loves seeing, we talked about this the other day, the amount of jump you can see a team make in college is so different than the jump you see in a pro football. Like these next 4 weeks that we're going to have in training camp, I believe the jump that our team can take will be not comparable to any jump an NFL team will make during training camp.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because those are old guys. They've been playing forever. This is still new to these guys. They've had 15 practices with you. I mean,
that's it.
That's it. Let's talk about Will Rogers. I remember watching him. He's actually throwing off to the side before the national title game. He's in a jersey and pants, and like, oh wait, that guy started 4 years at Mississippi State, and then he's in the portal. He's out of the portal. How did those conversations go when you got there, and he's trying to decide what to do?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of uncertainty for him, for us. I think we weren't sure, if our quarterback that we had at Arizona was planning to come or not.
Right.
I think Will wasn't sure if our quarterback that we had at Arizona was playing to come or not. So therefore he was trying to make his decision. And then our young quarterback did come. But I think that it was a matter of Will saying, okay, I want to make sure that if I'm going to be there for my last year of football, I'm going to have this great opportunity to start and play under a system that fits him. As we started talking more, he started understanding that our system is probably exactly what he needed. And it's a chance to be able to play from under center and in gun. It's a chance to be able to move the pocket. It's a chance to play act. It's a chance to make audibles and checks at the line of scrimmage. And it's a chance to be able to take on a system that is going to play to his skill sets. So when he came back in, I think that's what we saw.
Yeah, and he was in the air raid for 3 years. He played in a different system last year. Do these quarterbacks come more educated now because a lot of these transfers have seen a lot of offenses?
Yeah, well, Will for sure.
Yeah.
First of all, he's the son of a high school coach.
Right. Yeah.
So his work ethic, his football acumen is A++.
Yeah.
Then on top of it, he did go through the transition from Coach Leach to when Zach
Kevin Barbay,
coach. They brought in Barbady to bring more of a 2 tight end pro style type system. So he started learning some of that. I think our system's a little different than what he learned, but there's more similarities than if he just took the jump from Leach to us. Like he had that common ground that we could speak the language. So I do think you're going to start seeing that more and more with the transferring of quarterbacks, that a lot of these kids are going to have like 2 or 3 systems under their belt. Now, how well you know them in a year or two is a little different.
Now, you do play with guys under center sometimes. Like, how hard is it to find a quarterback who knows how to take a snap under, and a center who's actually snapped to a quarterback who's right behind him?
Very hard. It's very difficult. And we probably spend 10 minutes a day on center quarterback exchange. We probably, and in the summertime, we've asked them to probably snap thousands of balls to each other. Because it's totally different. And then it's even more different when somebody, as you know, lines up over you.
Yes. When there's a 300-pound guy not happy with you, and you got some guy with his hands in your junk, and then you got to block.
It is a little different. Even acting like you know what we're doing with the just center quarterback exchange. You just add that 300-pounder there. Now the world's different again. So, we got our work cut out for us, and that's what training camp's for.
Well, and how much education is there with the young quarterbacks of setting protections and IDing all that stuff that they have to see at the line of scrimmage?
Well, a lot. And our starting center was out all spring with an ACL injury.
Oh, there you go.
So, he'll be back for probably starting the second week of training camp, but, be ready to go. And then we brought in another center from Portland State who didn't get here until summer. So there was no one that ever snapped before snapping all spring ball.
Wow.
So we had a lot.
We trained some guys to snap.
We were training snappers. So it was fun for Coach Carroll.
I'm sure. But BC's been around the block. He's been a lot of places. So he's done this before.
This is not his first time.
Well, and so I want to ask you, because the rebuilding job you did at Arizona was incredible. I would imagine this is not the same as that.
Well, I would say that it is different because, there's the old saying, right? You have to learn how not to lose before you start winning.
Right.
When we got to Arizona, they didn't know how not to lose. Right. It was a 12-game losing streak, and we lost another 7. So they didn't know how not to lose. This team, knows how not to lose. They've won 25 of the last 28 games. Now, this team isn't that team, but on the same token, you've got 11 new starters on offense. You've got 9 new starters on defense. So, what we have to teach these guys in the rebuild is like, you've got to stop thinking that we're last year's team.
Right.
We're not. This is not anything close to, a team that's all 5th and 6th year players that were all, most of them recruited by 2 coaches ago.
Right.
And that have played together for 4 years. And now you're finally having your last year. And Michael Penix came back for his 5th year. And Rome came back. And Polk came back. And the offensive line was older and, mature. So now what we're trying to teach in this rebuild, and it is a rebuild, is we're trying to explain to them like, hey, you know how to win, and you've all been around places that have won. Now we have to all come together and learn each other.
Yeah, because you've got a core that knows how to work, knows what a team that wins works like in the offseason and all that, but they didn't actually do any of the playing that did the winning.
Yeah. And you've got 12 other players that transferred from Arizona,
right,
that knew what it was like to win.
Yep.
And knew what it was like to rebuild, and they don't want to rebuild.
Oh, no. Yeah.
So I think everybody's in the same boat, that we all want to have the same success, but we know that we're going to have to work really hard to get together and to learn each other.
So as this sport changes, you're still a relatively new head coach, and you started as a head coach when all of this change started. Do you find that it's easier for you to adapt to this stuff, or is it still just one crazy thing after another?
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I have the historical knowledge that gets you in trouble of saying, well, we never did it this way.
Right.
Like, I've done this is my 4th year as a head coach. 48. Like, I love the change. I think it's exciting. I think there's now I know that I probably drive our AD crazy, and I probably drive all the people in our building crazy, because I'm constantly wanting to know why and what and how are we going to stay on top of it. And I don't like to react to others. I don't like to read that this program's doing this. Why aren't we doing that?
Right.
I want it to be Washington's doing this and other programs saying, why didn't we come up with that idea? So we're constantly trying to figure out ways to be innovative and different. And I think if we can execute that, we'll have the success we need.
As the revenue share piece comes in, I was talking to another coach about this the other day, and they were saying they feel like it'll close some gaps if you're a good evaluator. That's where those people will really shine. But if you're not, then it can get ugly.
Yeah, I mean, well, some of the teams that I've heard recently are spending $10 or $12 million more on their team than we are.
Right.
So when I see those numbers,
possibly in your league,
probably in our league, unless they've realigned in the last 24 hours. So when you see those numbers that teams are spending, we got to bring it back to the norm. We got to bring this thing back. So I mean, it used to be everyone has 85 scholarships, so you have equity, right, and you have fair playing field. Yeah, now you have some teams paying $18 million, $17 million for their roster. I mean, I don't know if that's a fair playing field if other teams are paying 6 or 3. So I think we're going to be in a spot now where if we all could get to that 14 number or 15 number, whatever it's going to be, and then figure out a way that, okay, now let's evaluate well.
Yeah.
Let's coach them really well. And then let's see what this thing's going to look like. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it feels a little more like the path that you used to have, even though there is money going to the players.
Yeah, and that's the best part. To me, that's when we've hit exactly our North Star.
The special sauce there, yeah. Because that's what I do think there needs to be a reward for coaches who can just find better players than everybody else, or find guys that people miss, or develop guys.
Oh. It's the same reason why some of us don't think we need to have video on the sidelines. Like, I mean, at what point in time is coaching not even coaching anymore, right? Like, there is some value to be able to see it and adjust to it. I mean, Coach Spurrier was the best of all time at seeing something and calling it. Now, and not having to watch a video and then come back. And I mean, we didn't even watch videos of practice, Andy.
That's true. That's true. Well, I mean, you're talking about a guy who could see the matrix on the field. Most coaches can't do that.
Yeah.
But one last question. All right. So you're going to have, unfettered access to your QB until 15 seconds on the play clock. What do you want to talk to him up until then?
No.
Or no?
No, I'm not. I've done that. I mean,
you've done it. You've actually done it. Yeah.
And I find it I don't do that. I don't talk very much. I'll call the play and maybe give one reminder, maybe. But I don't see this as being one in which that I'll be one of those coaches that hang on till 16 seconds and just babbling in their ear the whole time. I just don't think that's.
I imagine some of those NFL quarterbacks you worked with were like, shut up.
Yeah, you get waved off quickly. Call the play and they wave you. So I'm accustomed to that, and I think Will would do the same.
Now, could he be like a catcher shaking off a signal? Like,
nah, they don't get that option. They don't get that privilege. Blake Bortles tried that one time, I think. I was like, Blake, we don't wave off the call.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
You got it, Andy. Good seeing you.
Oh, I can imagine. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.